back on Get Up, and Game 4 between the Bucks and the Raptors featured Giannis, and this is something that really he probably doesn't want to see again. You see him fouled there, and Richard Jefferson, it's his first trip to the line in Game 4. It just hasn't been good for him from the free throw line. What's going on here?
Well, I just think that, there's some mental to it. You look at too many great players from point A to point B in their career have improved it. And I love the confidence. Like this, he's not going to stop driving. Doesn't matter how many free throws he airballs or misses. He's going to keep driving. He's going to keep doing it. But this is more mental than it is physical. So
we saw the flashback from Game 3 and then Game 4, another air ball. So let's go to the third quarter. And the Bucks are down 79-71. Giannis at the line again and bricks that free throw. There wasn't a lot of action in the background there. Drake.
That's not cool.
Stop
That's
it, Drake.
Not cool.
It's not very nice.
Oh, I love it.
Drake's going crazy on the sideline. That's a whole other story. But let's get back to the game. And we're going to bring in Tim Legler for that to break down the game further. And Tim, the Raptors excelled in every aspect of this one. But you do want to focus specifically on how they handled traffic on both ends of the floor. So tell us about that.
Yeah, this series took a dramatic turn once they got to Toronto, and it really starts with the Stars, and they're going to play in a lot of traffic throughout this series. Whichever team manages it better is probably going to win on that given night, and there's no question Toronto did a better job of it. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. And initially, Kawhi comes up the floor, and you can see they do a nice job right here. You got two at the start, but in a second, Kawhi's patience pays off because Serge Ibaka is going to run into the play right down the middle of the floor. The reason that's important is because that's going to take Chris Middleton with him. And now you're going to end up with one-on-one coverage, which means Kawhi is going to now have an opportunity to penetrate, get into the gut of the defense, and once again, look at the traffic, look at the activity level, three around him. So now, how are they going to manage this situation? Take a look at the shooters. You got Kyle Lowry positioned on this side of the floor. Fred VanVleet's going to relocate up, and then finally, you got Norman Powell who's going to slide over here to this corner. Key is VanVleet coming up right here. He gives Kawhi Leonard an opportunity to have a passing lane. If Fred VanVleet stays down here or clears out, this is going to be a bad possession. But the fact that he relocates allows Kawhi Leonard now to have an opportunity to pass this basketball out here. Now, George Hill's got to make a decision on the weak side. For me, I think this is a stunt and recover back to the guy that's hurt them more in this series. Fred VanVleet had a good night last night, but he's really struggled with his confidence. So I don't know why you have to over-rotate right here to VanVleet, because that allows one more pass to the corner, wide open corner shot for Norman Powell, who had it going last night, and he's really hurt them throughout this series. Contrast that with what the Bucks have had happen. They've missed 115 threes in the last 4 games in this series. Here you go. Start off traffic here. Nice job by Chris Middleton. He's going to try to get out here to give Giannis an outlet pass, but look at the effort right here by Danny Green. He's going to take that away. So now Giannis doesn't have a relief valve. Actually does a pretty good job of turning the corner, getting into the lane. But again, look at the traffic he gets. You get pursuit coming off the edge. You got a backline defender right there. So how do they manage this? Well, you get the right pass here to kick out, but Danny Green makes a great play. This is multiple efforts on the same play. He gets the closeout, and it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you cannot contest a shot any better than that. That's hand-on-hand, late in the shot clock. You force the miss. The bottom line is the Milwaukee Bucks have not done enough outside of those traffic plays for Giannis to hurt the Toronto Raptors, where now the floor opens up for him. They've missed 115 threes, like I said, in this series, and this was a team that had the second most makes in the league in the regular season.
Great, excellent stuff from Legs there, illustrating the most important key in this series. Which team does better with the best players on either side in traffic? Thanks so much. SportsCenter, 6 p.m. Eastern after PTI. That's with Sage and Kevin. They'll look at the Warriors' NBA Finals flight plan with the Bucks-Raptors series tied at 2 games apiece. Got to see what happens there. Plus, Dak Prescott's comments today from Cowboys OTAs and what it'll take to get a new deal done for him. And could the NFL already be making a change to the new pass interference replay rules? Wow. SportsCenter after PTI on ESPN, also on the app. And Greeny, back to football.
Yeah, let's talk about Landon Collins, all right? So he's one of a number of high-profile players from the Giants who moved on during this offseason. In an interview with ESPN's Sam Alipur, Collins talked about the big changes the franchise made and the motivation he believes was behind it. Here's what he said.
You were a part of a major, quote, house cleaning.
Yeah.
What was the biggest surprise for you aside from yourself?
It'd be between Snacks and OBJ, the best receiver in the game. and you get rid of him because you think he's a locker room problem. That's a leader right there, you know, and that turned my head around.
So what was the culture that you were a part of supposedly in New York that they didn't want anymore?
I think guys with platforms, honestly, I think guys that had a voice up there that was kind of they thought was bigger to the team, which I felt like none of us was bigger to the team. All we wanted to do was win, and we spoke up because we had to get them to listen to us. We had to get them to get us winning pieces to help us at least be contenders.
So this is really interesting stuff to me because this is really, especially in the modern era where players have so many more options and opportunities to make themselves brands, to talk to the public beyond the traditional ways of the media. I can see teams being uncomfortable with that, and all those guys fell into that category. What were you hearing from Collins right there?
I was hearing that they didn't want players with platforms that would speak out about the things that were going on with the New York Giants. Look, we didn't need Landon Collins and Odell Beckham Jr. to tell us what the issues with the Giants were. We saw Eli and his decline, which the quarterback is going to really control how much you do as far as success abides by a team. And then, two, think about the direct opposite, G, right? We came up to the draft. We talked about Dwayne Haskins. Haskins has a little swagger, was a better quarterback coming out of college. He was a guy that everybody thought was going to change the Giants' fortune as far as putting them in a position to have success. They went with Daniel Jones. What's Daniel Jones? Boring. That's what he is. These guys that they got rid of their best players for a change of culture. You know what's a culture? Winning. And you know who never talks about culture? Winning teams never talk about it. So what Gettleman has done, what the Giants organization has done, has gotten rid of guys that really brought all of the notoriety, visibility, and beyond all of that, the best players. Big Snacks Harris, one of the best run defenders in the NFL. Olivier Vernon, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Landon Collins, one of the best safeties in the NFL. And OBJ, one of the best receivers in the NFL. And you drafted Saquon Barkley, who could damn well be the best running back in the NFL. And you tell me you want to change a culture to winning, and you get rid of the best players on your football team.
Well, there is something clearly, there is a thread of commonality amongst all those guys. They're big, larger-than-life type personalities, boisterous personalities with big followings, particularly Odell. And that's obviously something the Giants decided was a problem because with all the talent they had, they weren't winning games. At the end of the day, they were not winning games.
Well, we can start talking about why they wasn't winning games.
It's because of the quarterback?
A lot.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of quarterbacks, this to me was fascinating. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, right? You got Aaron Rodgers. Now, he made a brief appearance on the hit show Game of Thrones. He was asked yesterday about the finale. Listen to the intricate detail with which he described it.
Were you satisfied with the ending of Game of Thrones?
No. I love the show, and it was a great 10 years, but no. I mean, you come down to the end, and Tyrion says the person with the best story is Bran, who, by the way, 3 episodes ago said he wasn't Bran Stark anymore. No, Jon had a better story. Dany had a better story. Arya had a better story. Sansa had a better story. Tyrion had a better story. Varys had a better story. Bronn, a lot better story. Jaime, better story. Cersei, probably better stories.
So, I find the passion with which he speaks for this fascinating. Tibbs, I know you probably spent so much time binge-watching Game of Thrones. But here is the question that comes up. I was hesitant to play that this morning because I don't think I have fully come to terms with what is the statute of limitations on spoiler alerts at this point. So it aired Sunday. Here we are Wednesday morning, and everyone tells me we're comfortable with this. So once and for all,
yes.
What is the statute of limitations? How long must you stay mum about something like this before it's cool?
I think 48 hours. I think 48 hours because people could be traveling, people could have stuff to do. But after that, if you are a true fan of this show, you have watched it or you figured out a way to watch it in 48 hours, especially this series finale.
Yeah, I have never seen it, so I'm totally spoiled.
I mean,
but
come to 2019.
I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. Wow. I'm stuck somewhere else. But I do think it's 48 hours because people can catch up.
Does that seem like a reasonable amount of time? Does anyone at this table watch this show?
As soon as it go off, it's time to talk about it. Listen, it is. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, G, and people may disagree. I think it's the greatest show ever been on television.
Game of Thrones.
Did you like the ending?
The finale sucked.
Oh,
but
he's with Aaron
you have to be a
Rodgers.
diehard Game of Thrones fan to understand why the finale sucked.
But 48 hours is the accepted
No,
time.
right after it go off.
Right after it goes off.
Yeah.
All right, good
Damn
luck.
if you couldn't watch it.
I'll tell you right now.
Don't go to
I'm
social
awfully
media.
glad you weren't here with us Monday morning.
Yeah,
That's the
for
only
sure.
thing
I
I can
would've
say for
spoiled a
sure.
lot.
Hey, I want to
People would've
remind you,
been
by the
mad.
way, that PFL2 is tomorrow with the featherweights and lightweights, and it'll be on ESPN2 at 7 Eastern for the early bouts, then on ESPN Plus from 9 to midnight Eastern to wrap up your night. You can start your free trial of ESPN Plus right now by going to ESPNplus.com, or you can just download the app so you can watch the PFL from anywhere. All right, we have a new hour coming your way here on Get Up. Kawhi and the Raptors bounce back to even the series with Milwaukee. Is the momentum now squarely on their side? Jay Will's on the way. We'll talk about it.